Security Chief Keovax of the Galactic Concord watched with professional interest as the human delegation was escorted into the diplomatic reception hall. The 5 humans, 3 female, 2 male, were the first of their kind to visit Concord Station Alpha, and Keovax had been tasked with ensuring their safety while simultaneously monitoring them for any potential threats. The irony wasn't lost on him. Humans were physically unimpressive. No natural armor, minimal musculature compared to Praxians, no venomous appendages like Fraxians. Yet the Concordat intelligence briefing had labeled them as Class 1 adaptive combatants, the highest threat designation for a sentient species. Seems excessive, Keovax muttered to his second-in-command, MINI, as they observed from their security station. They don't even have claws. The briefing was quite specific, MINI replied, her sensory frills twitching nervously. Apparently, it's not what they have, but what they can use. The diplomatic reception proceeded smoothly. Ambassador Reyes, the human delegation leader, engaged warmly with representatives from 17 worlds. Keovax gradually relaxed, until the incident. It happened during the ceremonial toast. A Zexian diplomat, notorious for territorial aggression, deliberately bumped into a female human scientist named Dr. Chen. The Zexian's environmental suit sloshed but didn't rupture. Watch your path, soft skin. The Zexian gurgled through its translator. Dr. Chen smiled politely. No harm done. The Zexian loomed closer. Your species is unwelcome here. The Concord needs warriors, not fragile scholars. Keovax tensed, preparing to intervene when Ambassador Reyes approached. Is there a problem? Your subordinate occupies space better filled by a Zexian, the diplomat hissed. What happened next occurred so quickly that Keovax's recording implant barely captured it. Ambassador Reyes' posture shifted subtly. Her hand, holding a delicate crystalline flute of celebratory nectar, turned slightly. When she spoke, her tone remained diplomatic. But Keovax's threat senses screamed danger. Interesting perspective. Reyes said pleasantly, did you know this drinking vessel, if broken along its natural stress points, would create 7 sharp implements capable of puncturing your environmental suit in precisely the places where your respiratory filters connect? The Zexian froze. Reyes continued, gesturing with her other hand, which held a simple stylus. This writing implement can be thrust through an ocular membrane with sufficient force to reach its Zexian secondary brain. Humans have extensive knowledge of cynoanatomy, necessary for medical cooperation, of course. The reception hall had gone silent. Keovax signaled his security team to ready non-lethal interventions. Even this sash, Reyes indicated her ceremonial garment, could be used to bind circulation to your primary tentacle cluster. Not that we would ever consider such actions. We're scholars, after all. The Zexian retreated 3 steps. The Zexian hegemony recognizes the human delegation's diplomatic status. It gurgled before quickly departing. Reyes sipped her drink, nodded politely to the stunned onlookers, and rejoined her colleagues. Later, in the security center, MINI reviewed the footage with Keovax. She threatened him with a drinking glass, a writing utensil, and a decorative fabric. MINI said, her frills fluttering in disbelief. Keovax nodded slowly. Computer, access intelligence brief on humans. Section. Tactical adaptability. The computer's neutral voice filled the room. Human neural pathways are uniquely optimized to identify improvised weaponry. Testing indicates the average human can identify 37 potential weapons in a standard diplomatic setting within 5.2 seconds of entry. This cognitive pattern appears to be unconscious and universal among their species, regardless of individual combat training. Ancestors preserve us, MINI whispered. They see weapons everywhere. No, Keovax corrected, a new understanding dawning. They see weapons in everything. There's a difference. He watched as the human delegation bid goodnight to the remaining diplomats. Dr. Chen, the scientist who'd been confronted, was explaining something enthusiastically to a Praxian biologist, using animated hand gestures involving a decorative plant. Add supplemental observation to intelligence brief, Keovax dictated. The most concerning aspect of human tactical adaptation is not their ability to weaponize ordinary objects, but their capacity to transition seamlessly between combat readiness and peaceful interaction. They transform their environment into an arsenal without conscious effort, then continue diplomatic relations as if nothing occurred. He watched Ambassador Reyes laugh at something a Thraxian diplomat said. The same hand that had held the crystalline weapon now made a gesture of friendship. Recommendation: QVAX concluded, consider humans not as a species that builds weapons, but as a species that has never seen an object that couldn't become one. Proceed accordingly.